SpaceX is set to revolutionize space travel as we know it, and it wants to do this through a next-generation spacecraft called Starship. This is a spacecraft that many, including NASA, are eyeing and eagerly waiting to utilize because of its promising potential. Want to find out what makes this spacecraft a game-changer in the space industry and what exactly scientists think about it? Then make sure to watch this video till the end. But before we start the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification buttons so you get notified every time I drop those videos. If you've been following Elon Musk for a while, you would know that he's always talked about settling humans on the planets such as Mars. And according to him, colonizing the red planet or other worlds would help transform humanity into a multi-planet species. And not only that, but it would also help preserve civilization in case Earth were to experience a disaster that could cause its destruction. To make this vision of space colonization a reality, there was the need for the development of a capable space vehicle, and this is where Starship comes in. Starship's peculiarities. Starship is a gigantic rocket and spacecraft combination that stands at nearly 120 meters, which is taller than the Statue of Liberty. The Starship also surpasses the height of the Saturn V, a heavy lift-launch spacecraft that was developed under the Apollo program and used to send astronauts to the moon. According to Elon Musk, the Starship is designed to be about twice as powerful as the Saturn V. Its diameter is also wider than other orbital spacecraft, which makes it ideal for transporting large amounts of cargo or many people, depending on the case. Elon Musk had the following to say about Starship's capacity. You could conceivably have 5 or 6 people per cabin if you really wanted to crowd people in. But I think we mostly would expect to see 2 or 3 people per cabin, and so nominally, about 100 people per flight to Mars. Starship's payload is also massive, and it's believed that it could be able to carry at least 100 tons. What this means is that just 6 Starship flights would carry much more into space than the rest of the world was able to achieve with about 135 rocket launches in 2021. The spacecraft is also designed to be fully and rapidly reusable. Full reusability means that its major parts are not discarded in the sea or allowed to burn up in space, which has been the common case in other launch systems. To better explain this, Starship sits atop a rocket booster called Super Heavy, which will help launch it into orbit. And once these two parts separate in outer space after launch, the Super Heavy booster will fall back to Earth, where it would be steered back towards its launch pad. And right there, mechanical arms built into a launch tower will extend out to catch the booster, therefore enabling a soft landing. As regards to the spacecraft's rapid reusability, what this simply means is that once it returns from a space trip, it can be refueled and ready to launch in a short time. The Starship's upper stage could as well be inserted into a parking orbit once after separation from its rocket booster, and this allows it to be refueled with propellant. Doing this would allow it to make longer trips to a distant planet, like Mars. However, SpaceX would have to first launch several Starships into space to act as propellant depots or gas stations. SpaceX's competitive edge. Even though Starship's power and size are jaw-dropping, SpaceX intends for each launch of the spacecraft to be cheap. How cheap exactly? To understand this, we'll have to make a comparison with another of SpaceX's creations known as the Falcon 9, which is a 70-meter-tall spacecraft that has been in use since 2010. With the Falcon 9, SpaceX was able to pioneer reusability, and this helped to significantly reduce the cost of reaching space. For a launch of the Falcon 9, SpaceX charges around $67 million, which is quite cheap compared to the amount charged by competitors. However, Starship's flights will cost way less. Elon Musk claimed that each launch of the Starship could cost as low as $1 million or $10 per kilogram. Some scientists' skepticism. The proposed low charges that SpaceX is offering as regards to each launch of the Starship have raised a bit of doubt in the minds of some scientists. One of such is a space economist at Eurospace by the name of Pierre Lionnet, who believes that the low price point offered by SpaceX might not be feasible due to the high capital costs incurred in developing the spacecraft. To make profit with such launch rates, it means that SpaceX would require to fill up the spacecraft's massive payload capacity, and this might be a daunting task. Carissa Christensen, the chief executive of Bryce Tech, also echoed similar sentiments, saying that finding customers to fill the spacecraft's cargo capacity will be challenging. She had said the following: Starship's payload capacity is huge. It's very, very big, and there aren't that many commercial uses today for a big rocket. Maybe it'll be so cheap that it makes sense to launch satellites on it if it's not full, or near full. However, to counteract that challenge, SpaceX plans to diversify into activities such as space mining and space tourism in hopes that all of these would allow them to expand into new markets. Plans by NASA and others. Scientists at NASA believe that the development of the Starship is a step in the right direction, and they believe it would be beneficial to space exploration. Due to this, NASA is capitalizing on the spacecraft's potential. This is why, in 2021, NASA awarded SpaceX with a $2.89 billion contract to develop a version of Starship that would be capable of taking astronauts to the surface of the Moon. The goal of this program, called Artemis, is to establish a long-term human presence on the lunar surface, which in turn would serve as a stepping stone in NASA's plans to send astronauts to Mars. Meanwhile, other scientists point out that the Starship's trip will not be limited to the Moon and Mars. It's believed that the spacecraft would be efficient for faster missions to other distant planets that do not require time-consuming gravitational assists from other planets. Some astronomers as well see the spacecraft capacity as an opportunity to transport bigger space telescopes into space. The future of Starship. The construction and development of the spacecraft continues at SpaceX's open-air facilities in Boca Chica, Texas. Prototypes of Starships have been tested by SpaceX in the last few years, with successes being recorded. At the moment, an orbital test flight is scheduled next, and this will see Starship traveling to orbit and attempting to make a nearly full trip around the Earth before re-entering the atmosphere. Elon Musk has put into consideration the idea of eventually building a fleet of Starships in the future, and, if according to the billionaire CEO, each were to launch several times a day, then there are just so many great possibilities that the spacecraft holds. What do you think about the Starship? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.